Hello beaters, welcome back to the channel. I have some more design inspiration. I'm really excited about this necklace project I have for you today. I am into making a bar necklace. It's kind of what I refer to it as because these little components look like little bars. And what's so great about a necklace like this is it's really, really versatile because you can make it to any length. You can use any chain. You can use any length of components that you want, and you can make it slip over the head. You can shorten it and put a toggle. You can make your bottoms here, the bottom run of your chain. You can make these any length. I have not made a necklace like this, guys. I think it was the year before last holiday season. It's been a long time. I may have made one last summer, but I don't think so. And I was just thinking how beautiful this color palette might look on kind of a minimalist look of this style of a necklace. So let's jump into it. If you are in project mode for Lilac Dreams, this will be project 3. Project 3 for Lilac Dreams. But we can use any beads and any chain, any kind of components. You can really mix this up. I just hope to give you a little design inspiration. And I will walk you through as I go along here what I'm doing and how I am doing it. Now to start out, friends, I have cut, I can't even get it all in, a super, super long, it's probably about a 50-inch or so piece of chain. Because I know I'm going to cut some at the bottom. I just need to complete my center before I decide that. And this back portion is going to definitely go slip over the head. I am not going to use a clasp. The other thing I'm using is some 18 gauge wire. I'm using this for both my components and what I will do at the bottom for my components. And I've already made one. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'm just using a mix of my beads. I'm using some of the gold spacers, some of the amethyst cuboids, and some of the 6 and 8 millimeter rondelles here. I'm also going to be using the charms and I think some of the check glass bell beads down on the bottom. And so here's what I do, guys. So I'm making my components. The trick is, let me pull you in a little bit. Okay, so the trick of making our components and getting everything to lay right is we kind of really almost have to use, for me anyway, my bead mat or my workspace. It's kind of my backboard when I'm connecting to get my chain to lay straight with my loops here. So otherwise, I've done this quite a few times to where if I'm picking up the chain, it will like twist and it just gets funky and weird. So there's a trick for you. Putting something like this together, just laying your chain down when you're connecting your loops. You'll see me do it in a minute. And then of course to start out, I've determined if you want this to slip over the head, you are just gonna kind of find your center wherever you've cut, however you've cut your chain, and then you're gonna kind of go down and put it right around your neck, your chain here, and then just go down and then put your fingers wherever it slips over your head, and that is kind of like a decent like starting point, so that way you know the rest of it will slip over your head. So this would be, you know, if this was where I slipped over the head comfortably, and this much chains in the back, then I would maybe start my components here. So let's jump into it. So I'm going to use the one-step looper today, guys. I'm going to push this to the side and let's go ahead and make our components. So again, I'm using 18 gauge wire today in gold. It's tarnish resistant. And I don't need to worry about flush cutting it because I'm using the one-step looper, but I did straighten it out with my nylon jaw. And I will just go ahead and put my wire inside my one-step looper, and then I'm going to go ahead and close, and I'm going to kick that back a little bit and make sure the rest is straight, and then go ahead and remove that. And I'm using the 1.5 millimeter, so it's making nice small loops. And then I'm just kind of going over to my other components and eyeballing it, giving myself enough room. And I'll cut that off little, about maybe 3/4 of an inch past, just to make sure I have enough room here. And so to make my first component, I'm making 2 each the same. And so I'll have 2 more to go here. I'll zoom in. Let's do this one. So I am putting on a 4mm or a 3mm gold spacer, and then the 8mm purple luster, and then again another 8mm or 3mm spacer, and then an 8mm rondelle, and then another spacer, and then I'm putting the 6mm imitation jade in that frosted lilac, and then I'm doing another spacer and repeating that on the other side. Now, what I did was I put my component together that has my amethyst cuboids on it first. And I kind of had to play around with my beads then and figure out how to get what combination of beads on here that were going to be the same length as the amethyst that I did here. So you kind of have to play around with it a little bit because you do want your lengths to be pretty close. They don't have to be exact, but they have to be pretty close. Okay, and so that is what I have. Believe that matches up. That's what I did. That's what I did. And now I am going to make sure my loop over here, the open portion, is on the top. I'll come back in here with my 1-step looper. I'll put that wire in my looper, let it exit the other side. And again, I'm going to hold my loop over here with the loop open portion facing up. Hold that. Put this right next to my bead without grabbing it. Okay, let's get you situated now. So I'm gonna put that right up against that there. And just be mindful that I'm not gonna crack my beads. It's upside down again. Turn that right side up. And then I will go ahead, close that, kick that back a little bit, remove my wire, and remove my component, and that's what I have. And we're gonna do that one more time with the amethyst. And so I will put my wire inside my looper, get my first loop going here. And then go ahead and trim that off. And then I did the spacer and then an amethyst and then a spacer, and I did 4. And then we'll go back in the 1-step looper and our components are done. This is a really easy project, and it's not really it does not take very long. It's not terribly lengthy. And so I'll put my wire in there and my 1-step looper. Let that wire exit the other side. Be really cautious about that bead next to my jaw there. Make sure my loop is facing up. And I think we're good right there. And kick that back a smidge. pretty much done with that at the moment. And that did not close my loop all the way, but that's okay because I'm getting ready to put it on. So now what I do to start constructing, as I was previously trying to explain, it's, I guess, better as a visual. I put my necklace any way that's comfortable for me. I've been putting mine like this, kind of sideways. And then making sure that my chain here on the side is kind of laying down. And I'm going to skip 2 links. And then I am going to get that loop. I might need to even open it a little bit more. Let me see here. And I'm dealing with 18 gauge here. Okay. And so I am going to skip 2 links from where this one is. So 1, 2, and then he's going right there. And this is what I mean. This is how I do it, because then I know my chain is not twisted. And then I'll close my loop. Make sure that's nice and closed. And same thing over here. Get that closed up there. I am using the 5mm chain, so it is thin. That's why I'm having to be so like precise with my loops. And whether you're using the one-step looper or any loop making technique, you still have to have those loops like perfectly closed. But I think maybe about right here. So I put that one on there. Let's get that closed. And then the other side. It's just easier, guys, when you're working with the flat chain connecting it. It does tend to just, I don't know, it just works out that way. Where it just comes together a little better. I think that's the correct link. Pretty much. And let me get that closed. I could have done 1 bead to make that tighter. Lots of versatility here. Hopefully this just gives you guys a little design inspiration. If you're into like minimalist and like really, really long necklaces, it's a great look for the spring and the summer. That is for sure. It's a very unique look as well. It's a little long, so I am going to cut it below that. I think I'm going to cut it like around here. And then I'm going to stagger it. And then maybe this one is going to go down here. About right there. This is just it's total design, total individuality situation happening here. Okay, guys, so what I did was I did make my spiral component. And that's what I did. and I did a wire wrap loop. So I know for sure that that guy, I was kind of thinking he was going to go down here. I mean, it certainly does not matter. And then I have my charms, my enamel charms. They can also go anywhere. So maybe we'll go this way. And I do have my oval jump rings. So let's, these little teeny tots, let's get these guys on here. And so we'll feed that on and then put that on the last link of that chain. Now we could put these on different links of chain if we wanted to. We could stagger them off of one jump ring and make like some chain link with the jump rings. That's what I was thinking. And that's exactly why I'm using the ovals. Also go around the back of my neck over there, and let me pull this up, and we're gonna have to do on an angle situation here. And this all going around the back of the neck, and kind of pull that up, give you an idea of what that's gonna look like. Can you see the bottom? Let me get my mat situated. Isn't that cute, you guys? Oh my goodness. Precious. That looks so pretty. I love this. Oh my gosh. So cute. It's so hard to kind of visualize when it's on the map, but boy, is that going to be pretty. I love it. I hope you guys like that and enjoyed something totally different. I haven't done anything like this in like a year. So until the next time, friends, be blessed.